Mamuna Aquaba at the bank asset for and then in Kokosha a year NPP a catching for. Doctor Educhumna, Bisan and Sembi about a year NPP Amanukunity for Sape Editubina, Tifona, Nayin Kakakra. No Chima sitting say a NPP Amanukunu, a tune and saffron, some brown number flag bearer, and some running mate or Bayana, native for Sape Editubina, Tifuni moving and papa. No Chima sit or no. Ne mami anko school ni papa anko school ne oni ne busumo no pena o call school no de dododom classing class ena yakopon ye na dom ama nitumi call school do achipa no we na so call outside the country tifo na osisi structures edeman crop na our workers na dia debebre ano no adwuma na bra assistance na do anko kufuado eba abrochi no be hu dwuma podi no na casting bra na MPP amanuko no ahia no. So they have a trip to just on the opponents of NPP Amanukuna. So a basse, a doctor due to my Bassombra number running mate, and a summer flag bearer, Bettina Dodo. It is for us every Punaco in summer, a doctor edutum at the end to Dramedamuna.
Encourage the private sector to come in, offer incentives to the private sector to come in, so that the private sector can use its resources to do more of what government is using. I'll give you two final examples. Today, the government is refusing to renew the lease of multinational mining companies. A step that sends a very bad signal, if you put it together with many of the things the government has done in the gold industry, a very bad signal to the investor community. And so the private capital, and the last time, for example, that Goldfields invested in their Damang mine, it was about $1.7 billion. Private capital that you require like this to invest in the Ghanaian economy. The government is sending a signal that your investment is not fiscally or operationally safe in Ghana. And at the same time, the government is now taxing Ghanaians or borrowing money to give about $279 million to the gold board to go buy gold. At first, that $279 million is foreign exchange earnings that will come from people who want to import gold into their countries, Indians, Turkish, Arabians, etc. Now the government priority has shifted from allowing them to bring their money to buy gold and take it out to using taxpayers' money to buy gold. And instead, where they were bringing their money to invest in mines, the government is introducing measures that discourage them from bringing their money into mining. So what we're saying to the government is that stop the propaganda, focus on the job, admit the economic progress, and rather introduce policies that will build on it and enhance. We inherited a debt of about 2.4 billion on the energy sector side. We introduced a number of measures that ensured, so this was a debt of 2.4 billion at a time when power was not stable. We introduced a number of measures that cost us about 6 billion to keep the lights on in 8 years. And at the time that we were leaving power, we had a debt of about 2.4 billion. 2.4 billion, mostly occasioned by the redundant capacity charges that the NDC themselves had signed up to. Now, we also believe that a lot more efficiency. So, my point on that is that the NDC cannot sustain the argument that we did not manage the energy sector well. You walk on the streets and anybody on the streets will tell you that if it comes to managing the energy sector well, the NPP is done way better. In fact, this morning I was reading tweets from the Volta region and people complaining about Dumso in the Volta region. You've heard Dumso being complained about in the Ashanti region, etc. So on the assumption of office of the NDC, already people are beginning to complain about their inability to properly manage the energy sector. We will not be against private sector participation. No, we'll be interested in seeing the model for private sector participation that they bring in, because it would be unconscionable on our part, having tried private sector participation before, to come back and say we don't support private sector participation. That would be duplicitous. So we will be interested in seeing the model for private sector participation they want to bring, and the transparency and the gains that will come with it. And then we can take a definite position on whether or not we support a particular transaction that they'll put on the table. But I think as a political group, we have already demonstrated that we think private sector participation can bring efficiency in the energy sector.
say Radia dum kwani ahode ye wo ho
me adom ho ya pa
yes enei adaje ni posokra awalisa hotel Kramante mu ene boyenkomo mfiri ho
me da say me nyan so kan ya na ye mekre se de kan e kan ye no e de no ku ne abato a ye ko 2024 ye enam so e mo mo e di info enam so mo so eti eye Professor Michael Quay committee so mo nhwem omo ko e o man Ghana ha nyina na ne nam so a mo no e di info no won fa emra na matu iga ni eno na continue imaginary a ene wanda wo kasa yi omo e de eye report no e ba abetire empelifo yesi asa ba no kwese do ka ka na meetings no e ahodo mi no yedi kan neck meeting e be di kan akoso eno esase be say anopa be say elendi emo ewie ye no afi na national council meeting enso e ba be kodro e no mi mu ya na eno mu aba present report no ama national council meeting no na eno so e ba dia check so eno kasai afi na eno e ba da be koso na Ghana man pemi dada kanana do dango so ba bi pimu ha ade di akire enso be pimu ha do bo ni chidom na to enso e wa ha sei denta matugu pempe empenifuo do do no manaltire da enso to empenifuo do do no mo kabia ewo mu no enso aba be pimu ha yo mo ehwe se do no mi no bebo na sei yo mo ede eye national council meeting no asise so na nsem bia na so mabubu ho na party na form the passport ya nam so na mo edi ncho no so busa me a mitra ka say eye empenifuo no anabi da na meeting no meeting na ne yo mo e baba ye no meeting no yedi kan national executive meeting aye neck no no ma di kan aye wi am no ka say no you no pepe na fi national council meeting no so akoso a say no so mo wi a eno mo ntwa mbo nsem trofo amane ye court ni si gina na ye so yeti anya bi no so abo atie from there na no ka say there mitra ka say pelifo no do no ba de pimu e wa ha kan e man pani wona de di extreme na di o ball exidom ni ba de pimu ha but before the game no mo ka de yim no aba de pimu e wa
Brana ma wi sese si ano se de man pani akufu ai man pani da akufu ado ne bawumia ene omobobom di na pomo nyina no yenhwe akitaafo no so aside se edom no party ni man bebrebe abaho anase sai ne nema sistie e wo ho
no ka sai pepe ya de ni party fo no do no a na ni padodo a na hu wo ha ye un se ibidum ho ha na wo enko ko bi afọ mu guru boy sada me de from wo mo no e bi ko de ko a MPP ko mo do mo samrane na mo ye mo de ko no aba bi ko ha wo mo party fo no akasa de se bi a party supporters a ki bi a wa se party atade ni ade no de do no ami hu do ha sei nemum very prakaze guru boys no anase mrantie no a ebrebia no sempelifo no kwa no mo sa wo no o de do na ba de fie mu ha sei a wo mo enso e wa ha
Kwame adwuma wa ya che ya reporting ne awrade a odom a ene Kesman 92.9 Kramante mu ya pejua mo yese mu fo hoi se ya twonso ha behu yese ene wa ya kefo o mo pipesi ni bia liki o bibi ne yesi aliki okọ ho no se de yesi nya ne ntie se report ni bia liki ho ga ba ya hu nse mebrebe enei wodu asoto to fem no wo tete it dia ni betimi afiri mu aba ankasa
winya no kwe pero okeka kana bia people bonse se report no bia liki no ba ha no fa dia betimi akasa you know the yanti se sanse telefone si bu ano empelifo no a wo eka bia ewu a ni tira kasa